right, now I've got all my fortunes into the list. But how do I know they're really there? Let's use a toast to see if we really have added them. Notice everything that we're doing here is between the brackets of the onCreate, meaning this will run when the app loads. In order to get a piece of information out of a list, remember, a list is a collection of whatever you put in it. In this case, it happens to be a list of string, which are strings of our different fortunes. If I want to get at a particular fortune, I can get that fortune by accessing the index point in our list. All that means is when you put things into a fortune, they're put in order. Now, normally, if you put the first fortune in, you'd think this would be at position 1, and the next 2, 3, 4, and so on. And you'd be pretty much right, except for the first fortune goes at position 0. Now, there's a lot of technical and memory issues that go into why this is position 0 and not 1, but we don't need to go into that now. Just remember, the first item in your list is always at position 0. So if I wanted to store the first item in the list, I can make a variable called first fortune. It's going to be of type string because that's what we're storing in here. And I'm going to set it equal to fortunes dot get, and see how it says location? The location is going to be the index point. So if I want the first fortune, we need to get it at index 0. And we'll go ahead and put a semicolon there. Now, hopefully at this point, we've stored this fortune, the first one, at index 0, into this variable we've called first fortune. So let's print or post first fortune in our toast in order to see if it's actually working. So remember, we can make a toast by toast, make sure it's capital toast, dot make text. And in the make text, we need to first say the context. We can just use this method called get context or get application context. So we'll say get application context, it's the first one here, comma. Now what we write at this point will be what's displayed. So I could say hi there, and that would be displayed as hi there. But remember, we don't want to just write hi there. We want to write what's in our first fortune variable. So we can just write first fortune. Okay, so we're almost done with the toast. Now we need to add how long we want it to be displayed for. There's two basic lengths for toast display times, and it's long or short. So if we type capital T toast dot, you can see we have our two options, long and short. I'm going to say short. All right. Now, this sets up our toast, but in order to show it, we need to say dot show. Okay, let's run our app and see if we're actually seeing a closed mouth gathers no feet. If you're running your app for the first time, you're going to want to make sure to click on your Genymotion icon here. Now here is my virtual device, but it says it's off, so we need to start it. Go ahead and click start. Sometimes this takes a minute, especially if it's the first time you're running the emulator. That's why it's a good idea to keep the emulator running until you're done coding for the day. Okay, so it's launched the emulator. Let's go back and look at that window. Great, now it says it's on, so I can close this window. Now I can click the green play button, which is the run. Notice how it says Gradle build running down at the bottom. That means that the app is being built. Okay, when we see this window, this is what we want, our emulator, our Genymotion Google Nexus 4. And we can click this, use same device for future launches. What that does is that when you run it again the next time, it's not going to launch this window. It's just going to assume that you want to use the Genymotion Google Nexus 4, and we do. So I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to use Command Tab to toggle to my Genymotion emulator. If you're on a PC, you can use Alt Tab. Okay, great. So I see our fortune cookie, and it looks good. Now, where's our toast? Well, remember, the toast just displays for a short amount of time, and in fact, I chose a short duration. Let's try it again, and I'll make sure to switch over here in time. So let's go back, click Run, and then we'll go directly here. Okay, great. A closed mouth gathers no feet. Did you see that pop up at the bottom? I'm going to change this length short to length long, so it stays on the screen a little longer. And I'm also going to change this first fortune into something more generic called fortune, because we want to see if we can get at another fortune at a different index point, just to complete our test. Now, it's tempting to click here, delete this, and write fortune. But the problem is that changed fortune here, but it didn't change fortune there. And if we were using this variable at a lot of different points in our code, we'd have to go change each one individually. So you can go ahead and hit Edit, Undo, or Command Z or Control Z if you're using PC, and get back to our original first fortune. I want to show you a way that we can change the name everywhere using something called refactor. Go ahead and select the whole variable and right-click. Select refactor and then select rename. Now, if we rename this to fortune, notice how it renamed all occurrences. So if we click enter, now this fortune is updated too. Pretty cool, huh? Let's get a fortune at a different index point. Let's say we want to get the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 5th fortune. What index point will we need to call to get the 5th fortune? Well, remember that even though it seems like it should start at 1, it actually starts at 0. So let's count up from 0. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the 5th fortune actually lives at index 4. Let's change this to 4 and see if we get that 5th fortune. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we should see in our toast an alien of some sort will be appearing to you shortly. Let's go ahead and run the app and quickly switch over so we don't miss it. All right, there we go. We got the fortune at the right index. Pretty cool.